Welcome back to BK Nothing But Nets podcast. I'm joined as usual with my co-host Dylan. It's still a good day, isn't it? Like the vibes, everything feels good.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
I don't want to be the dead horse, but just give me your reaction to yesterday. I know we did a show on it, but just give me your reaction again to yesterday's trade.
I fell asleep very happy. I woke up very happy. Cam Johnson's off my team, so I'm still ecstatic, like I said yesterday, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the moves that are made. The trade market's about to heat up for Nick Claxton as Miles Turner ended up leaving Indiana. As I did mention, I thought that there was a chance he would do it, but I did not think it was going to be Milwaukee. So I'm extremely excited to see how that turns out. He's going to be the most coveted big man on the market now. Utah's already said they want to keep Walker Kessler, and outside of Kessler, who else is really out there for trade? Robert Williams. You'd have to think that if DeAndre Ayton decides to pick, one of either the Lakers or Pacers, the one who doesn't get him is going to look at Claxton. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
I hope that it happens. And we'll see how it goes. But I think Ayton should be signing sometime today. So that'll kind of give us a better answer on what to expect with Claxton's market.
Let's transition to Claxton. I was going to get to him later, but let's just get to him now. Your favorite Nets Daily, Bob Windrum, just told the Brooklyn boys that he expects Nick Claxton to remain in net, at least for the start of the season and for the foreseeable future. You're right. There's considerable trade talk for him. I know you don't trust Nets Daily, and whatever. That's fine. That's understandable. What are your thoughts on Claxton? Do you think he's going to get dealt sooner rather before the start of the season at least, or what are your thoughts on that?
I think that there's you have to think somebody's going to overpay a bit for him because they're in desperate need of it, right?
There's
really no other bigs on the market. Like realistically, let's just say Ayton signs with one of the Pacers or the Lakers. The one that doesn't get Ayton, you'd have to think would prioritize Claxton over Robert Williams, right? A healthier big man, a better defensive big man currently at this point in their careers. You'd have to think that they prioritize that. More so the Lakers than the Pacers, because the Pacers weren't willing to give Miles Turner $26 million a year, and Claxton's on a $23 million deal this year that begins to descend. So I think that if the Pacers end up landing Ayton, then the Lakers are going to be in prime position for Claxton, who they have shown previous interest in. Nets Daily is the Joe Biden of Nets news. Oh, Jesus. Oh, that's so good.
So good. Let's live in that world for a minute. Let's live in that world. A trade to the Pacers. You mentioned Benedict Mathurin yesterday. That to me would be a home run. Again, what would that trade look like? What would a hypothetical Claxton to Indy trade look like?
It's tough. I don't think it could be a straight up deal because I think the Pacers are going to want some form of value. I don't think that they would be willing to give up a first round pick if they're giving up Ben Mathurin and Obi Toppin, because that's the contracts that they need to match up the Claxton offer. So it's difficult. It really depends. I mean, we can go on the trade machine today and mess around with some possible options, but I could definitely see the Lakers being the easiest trade partner just because they have two expiring contracts that match up with what Claxton's going to be making. And with that, if Brooklyn's not getting any youth out of it, they'll have to attach some picks to it. So I think I put out a trade yesterday that was Maxi Kleber, Gabe Vincent, their 2032 first-round pick unprotected, and then a 2031 first-round pick swap for Claxton, which I think is more than fair at this point, especially with how their free agency has gone. They've missed out on every big possibly available. So I think it's more than fitting if they miss out on Ayton, that Claxton for that package makes a lot of sense.
To me, a trade where I get Mathurin, who's on an expiry, he's actually on a club option this year, right? Who's on?
Yes.
$9 million, I think, club option.
Yeah.
If I can just get that trade, like if Indy called me up and said, I'll give you a Mathurin for Claxton, straight up, would you do that trade? I would say in a second. Like I think
100%. The only problem is going to be the financials. That's the only issue of it.
So I know Indy owns it. Indy has their picks for the foreseeable future, right? They have their first rounds.
They do. They can just bottom out this year if they want.
If you said Indy, if Indy called you up and said Mathurin, Obi, and I'll give you a slate of 2s. I would make that trade. I don't necessarily need a 1 if I'm getting Claxton off the books. I think Matherin is a player that can be here short term or long term. I don't love Obi Toppin, but he has value. I mean, he was a contributing player on a team that almost won the championship. Like Obi Toppin is not Kenyon Martin with a jump shot, which was what he was kind of told us we were sold on. He's a decent player. He's an athlete. He can shoot. He's okay. Like he would have minutes on this team, on this Nets roster. And his contract isn't great, but it's not atrocious either. If Indy called me up and said, Matherin, Obi, and 2-2s, I would just do it. Fine.
Yeah.
You can have them. Like, just get them away from me at this point. Your thoughts on a trade like that?
It's definitely not like unrealistic. I mean, there's definitely a world where there could be some possibilities. But again, it's just going to depend because does Sean Marks understand what he's trying to do this offseason, right? So far, it looked like horrendous. It was terrible with the draft and with Cam Thomas still being unsigned. But he brought back Sharp. He brought back Zaire. He dealt Cam Johnson. You'd have to think that he's starting to see the picture now of, this is the final year to really bottom out and solidify yourself with a top 3 pick next year. And I think the only way to solidify the long-term cap flexibility while also being able to develop your youth much faster than usual and being able to bottom out is to move on from Nick Claxton. So it really just depends on if he's serious about this direction, because this was the problem last year. He held on to certain vets for too long. He got minimal value for them in return, and we ended up being, the 8th overall pick. So hopefully he gets on top of it sooner rather than later.
Connor just did an interview with Bob Windrum over at Nets Daily, and according to Connor, Windrum said he thinks LA is pursuing Ayton, and as well they should. And he has heard the Nets have no interest in dealing Claxton, and he loves Brooklyn. I have no doubt the last part of that is true, and I have no doubt the first part of that is true. My question here is, they have no interest in dealing Claxton. I'm not saying that's not true. It could very well be true. It's just very concerning to me why they would have no interest in trading him. That's concerning to me. To me, anyone is available for the right deal.
Yeah.
Claxton is clearly overpaid. Why would they have no interest in moving him? Or do you think that Windrum is just off on this?
Listen, I respect people for what they do. I don't have any hate towards him. I've never actually heard of him. But if you're working with Nets Daily, I don't trust you. That's just over the past couple of years, it was, Mikal Bridges isn't going anywhere. They love him. He's their franchise guy. Well, he got traded to the Knicks. There's been tons of rumors previously from Nets Daily who have been completely inaccurate. So for me, I'm not going to hold any weight to it. There was also no rumors of Cam Johnson being traded the past month, and he got dealt on the first day of free agency. If a team is really desperate for a center like the Lakers and the Pacers are, even a team like Charlotte, I think could be linked to them. I've heard some rumors around them. Memphis could be another team potentially that looks to package up Brandon Clark and Cole Anthony for him. Like, these are all options that are on the table, and Memphis has picks. Lakers have valuable, 6-7 years in advance picks. Charlotte has their own picks. Like, there's a world where a Nick Claxton deal can be made very easily. So to me, I'm not going to hold any weight to that until I see him start on the roster for game 1.
Shout out Chris B. Always appreciate the support. The Pacers, the Bucks, have got themselves back in a pretty good position. Somehow they didn't move off the Damian Lillard contract. They stretched it out over 5 years. Do you have any details on that? I know it's not super Nets related, but I'm trying to figure out how they were able to pull this off, and I'm still not fully comprehending it. So can you kind of explain it to a slightly retarded man like he's 5 years old, how they were able to maneuver this?
Which one? The Cam Johnson MPJ trade?
No. I'm talking about just the Bucks trade, the Bucks signing.
I don't get it either, because I thought waiving a player doesn't just completely take their money off the books. Like, you still have to pay them, which they're going to be doing. But I guess they stretched out the contract long enough to be able to open up the cap space for Miles Turner, which is crazy. They're pretty much paying Turner $50 million because they're paying Dame $22 million and Turner $26 million a year. So it's a total of $48 million a year that's going outright just to bring in Turner, pretty much. So it's a risk. It's something that I do see backfiring on them. Within the next year or so for Giannis. Giannis is a guy we've already mentioned over the past 2 years as a potential trade candidate. I had him getting traded this offseason potentially, but that could be stretched out into next offseason as well. So, it's really going to depend on the rest of the roster moves. I mean, they're making solid moves in Milwaukee, but is it enough to win a championship? Probably not. I will say, though, Miles Turner and Giannis is a very, very good front court duo. For sure.
It's
With the
really
rim
good.
protection and floor spacing of Turner mixed with the dominance of Giannis, that's definitely something that can work out really well over there.
To me, what they have now in Turner and Giannis is a major step up from what they had last year in Brook Lopez. To me, this puts the Bucks. I don't know. Where do you think this puts the Bucks in the East? Does it put them ahead of Orlando, Detroit? Where does this put them?
Maybe Detroit. And that's if Giannis is healthy for a full season. It's going to be very difficult to see. Like Orlando's 100% better than them. Cleveland's 100% better than them. New York is 100% better than them. Philly, I think, if healthy, is 100% better than them. Toronto, I can even see being better than them. So,
all right. So it really doesn't put them back in contention in the East. It puts them.
Realistically, even though Toronto is probably going to have a better regular season than them, if they match up against them in the playoffs, I could see Milwaukee winning that potentially. But again, it just depends on the health of the teams, what additions they're able to make for the rest of the way. Like they brought back Gary Trent and KPJ. They just brought in Gary Harris. They got Miles Turner. Like they're making solid moves. But it's really just going to depend on the health of Giannis, like every year. That no Dame, so you don't have your guaranteed 20-plus point per game scorer anymore. You got Miles Turner, KPJ, Gary Trent, Kyle Kuzma, Gary Harris. Maybe those 5 guys can combine for 65 plus a night, but outside of that, you're really kind of screwed offensively. So it'll just depend on the rest of the moves they make along the way. But I'm hearing Pat Connaughton could be a trade piece. I don't think they're going to get much value for him, even if they attach a couple of seconds or a late first round swap, whatever it may be. I don't think they're going to get much back in return for him. So we'll see.
One more thing on the Claxton trade. To me, the Lakers trade always seemed like a foregone conclusion. Like it always seemed like it was going to happen. It was just a matter of when, right? And then when you sort of Turner go to Milwaukee, it's like, okay. And he only got $27 million. Only $27 million a year, but I was expecting Turner to get more than $27 million a year. It is a 4-year deal. Do you think Turner took less for the 4th year? Like, could he have gotten 30 plus on a 3-year deal?
I don't know. I mean, it's really just the how their agents work on it, right? Like, I don't think Indiana was willing to pay him that much, especially during a year where, that they're not going to be in contention with the Halliburton injury. So
it's tough though. Yeah, you lose him forever now, and when you were literally this close, you couldn't be any closer to winning a chip, and now like you lose a major piece of that.
Yeah, no, it's Turner's by all means no superstar, no all-star, no anything, but him going to the Bucks is like kind of like KD going to the Warriors. Like Indiana hates Milwaukee, so for him to jump ship like that, they're pissed. They're not going to like that at all. So. The good news is that they do still have depth. I mean, Pascal Siakam, Obi Toppin, Aaron Nesmith, Andrew Nembhard, like they still have a solid foundation. But losing your starting big man and one of the best floor spacers at the big man position in the league, while also losing your starting all-star point guard for the season, that's going to be rough for them next year.
More likely, Claxton goes to Indy or the Lakers or some third team. Or someone else, Indy, the Lakers, or someone else. If you had to bet, where would you bet Claxton ends up?
The 4 teams that I'm linking him to as of right now, just based on some things that I've heard, the Lakers and Pacers are definite. And then I would say the Grizzlies and Hornets are like dark horses for him. Like I said, the Grizzlies can straight up offer Cole Anthony and Brandon Clark plus a first-round pick for him. Charlotte has Grant Williams, Josh Green, and their own picks as well, so that deal matches up contract-wise. You have the Lakers with Maxi Kleber, Gabe Vincent in their picks, and then you also have Indy with Obi Toppin and Benedict Mathurin as the contract matches. So there's going to be offers out there. It's just, will Sean Marks accept one? who knows? Just because he never capitalizes on the value of players, especially when the market's needed for him. We've seen that time and time again. Like, you could have probably gotten a better deal than MPJ in a first at the trade deadline this past season, but it's still positive value for Cam Johnson. I won't complain. I also like Michael Porter Jr. as a player, so I'm happy with the deal. But they can't wait too long with Nick Claxton, especially with how coveted he's going to be as the best big man who may potentially be available. You have to capitalize on it.
And my fear is that if they're trading him now, they're not trading him at his highest value, right? And Sean Marks is a guy with an ego who likes to be right. And my fear is that he's going to hold on to him and hope he plays well again, that he can get more for him at the deadline.
Yeah.
And he's not going to play well. Like, he's 27 or 26 or whatever he is. He's not getting better. Like, this is what he is or worse. It's not going to get better for Nick Claxton, especially not here. So just get rid of him now. And my fear is that Sean Marks is like, well, I just signed him to this $100 million contract. I don't want to trade him for scraps. It's like, guy, it's a horrible contract. If someone is willing to take it, and there will be people willing to take it, just take it. Take the expiring deals. Take Mather, whatever you can get for him. Just get Claxton out of here. Like, just get him out. And my fear is that Marks is going to hold on to him, because Marks' history tells me that he wants to make a big move, right? And he's not going to just trade Claxton for pieces, which is really concerning to me. And my guess is there are people calling, and my guess is that Marks is like, nah, I want 3 first rounders. Like,
3 first round picks and LeBron James. Give me that.
Yeah, bro, it's Nick Claxton. Yeah.
No, he's going to play hardball again, but hopefully he gets his head out of his ass and actually pulls this off, because realistically, as of right now, in terms of just free agency, he's done everything right. If you bring back Thomas and trade Claxton, that's the best offseason that we probably could have asked for, right? So I really do think that there is going to be a desirable market for Claxton, and it's going to come down to Marks again, which is never a good thing.
It's been an interesting offseason for Marks. It's been very interesting, right? The draft was highly questionable, but then he's handled everything since the draft extremely well. Re-signing Zaire, re-signing Sharp, and then the trade. Even the trade, the Terrence Mann trade, where you gave up nothing and got Mann and this 22nd pick, right? It was 22nd? For nothing.
Milwaukee
Literally
Bucks
nothing.
Are trading. There it is. Bucks are trading Pat Connaughton and 2 of their own second-round picks in 2031 and 2032 to the Charlotte Hornets for Vasily Miocic, their backup point guard. So they got their backup point guard now. That's random, but yeah. So that deal just went through.
All right, I want to transition back to our trade. I want to get back to MPJ.
So I was actually just saying, that's what I've been doing on my phone here for the last couple of minutes, is looking at what a possible trade could look like. I have it as a 3-team deal: Pacers, Nets, and Pistons. By the way, Dennis Schroeder, 3-year deal, $45 million to the Sacramento Kings.
Interesting.
So I have Ben Mathurin, Simone Fontecchio, and a 2027 first-round pick to Brooklyn, Nick Claxton and Keon Johnson to Indiana, and then Obi Toppin to Detroit.
All right, give me that. So the Nets get Fontecchio,
Ben Mathurin.
Oh, I like
this. 2027 first.
Oh, I like this a lot. Go ahead.
Pistons get Obi Toppin.
Okay.
And the Pacers get Nick Claxton and Keon Johnson.
Yeah. I mean, my only question is, no, I think it works for Detroit too, right? If you're Detroit, you're giving up Fontecchio but getting Toppin.
Yeah, you're pretty much trading an expiring contract for a guy who makes $6 million more a year over the next 3 years, right? So you're getting a high-end role player on a very team-friendly deal long term. I think Obi proved himself to be one of the best power forwards in terms of role players in this league with his performance throughout these playoffs this past season. So I absolutely think that Detroit would benefit with him very much so.
Bringing my Paisan into Brooklyn would be fantastic. No, I like this trade. I mean, Fontecchio is a shooter. He's a shooter. Yeah. Mathurin is a very good offensive player. Mathurin's a good player. Like
Jericho Sims is now heading to Milwaukee on a 2-year deal. So they have a backup big now.
Well, he was already, he's re-signing with Milwaukee.
Was he already there?
He was, yeah. He got traded to Milwaukee at the deadline.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
Doc. He played in the playoffs. Doc loves him. That's my Longhorn. He is what he
Oh,
is. I mean,
God.
he's an athletic big body. That's kind of big. I mean, he's not that big, right? They list him at 6'10", but that dude's 6'8", right? Like,
Probably.
like,
Yeah.
his ain't no 6'10". I watched it for 4 years. You can still look at the Longhorn media guy. They have him listed at 6'8", but now he's 6'10". All right.
By the way, the rookie introductions for the Brooklyn Nets is going live here shortly. Yegor Demon will be number 8. Drake Powell will be number 4. Ben Seraph will wear number 77. Nolan Traore will wear number 19. And Danny Wolf will wear number 18. So there's your jersey numbers for the rookie class.
If you guys want to get your Seraph jersey, order it now.
Jesus.
It's gonna be a hot seller. I still don't understand that pick at all. We'll see. What is even conceptually, idealistically, what is the role for Ben Seraph, knowing that you took Yegor and Trey as well? What is
tell you.
There's no thought pattern here. Like, there's none. It's concerning.
Yeah, it's very strange.
And you took him. You could have took Fleming. Like, I just don't understand. Like, I don't understand the thought pattern at all. It makes no sense.
When have we ever understood a Sean Marks 365-year, GM managerial set? Like there's never been one full year of him being GM where I've like enjoyed every move. It's always 7-8 months of the year he's dead, probably in Australia, sitting on a beach doing nothing. And then, there's 2 months of the year where he's just sitting at games, just doing nothing. And then you have the beginning of July where he'll do something. You'll have, at the trade deadline, he'll usually do something he didn't this year. Like he's, I swear he barely works, but he gets paid. I don't get it.
I want to address this real quick. Schroeder, 3 for 45, $15 million a year. Does that mean that Cam Thomas, who's much, much younger, is going to get more than we're thinking if Schroeder's getting $15 million a year? Did this just raise the price for Cam Thomas?
I think Cam's going to get screwed. I really do. I think it's going to be a 2-year, $40 million deal. 20 a year, 2-year short-term contract. It's going to be similar like they did with Nick Claxton when he was a restricted free agent. They brought him back on like a 2-year, $17-18 million deal. He was only making like $8 or $9 million, and they'll let him bet on himself for a year or two. I think it's going to be very similar.
And if Cam Thomas, I'm okay with that. Like, I'm okay with taking $20 million a year, betting on myself, going back into free agency when I'm now in my prime, 26 years old.
Yep.
And getting my 4-year deal for $100+ million then. Like, to me, okay, like, you're asking me to bet on myself. Cam Thomas clearly believes in himself, right? Like, there's no question about that. That boy does not lack any confidence. So, yeah, 2 years, $40 million, that could happen.
Yeah,
it could happen.
No, it definitely could. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to watch this thing, but
Schroeder played really well. Schroeder played really well last year.
I was going to say, are we going to get copyrighted if we play the introductions live?
No, the ours just play them. Can you bring them up?
I was going to say, I think you'll have to do it. If you go to YouTube and then share the screen, they're going to be live here shortly. I don't know if we're going to get copyrighted for it, but hey, see what happens.
I'm going to lose my channel over one it never makes any sense what you get copyrighted for. It never, ever makes any sense. But, like, there's no rhyme or reason for it. They have to complain, I guess. I don't know. Give me 1 second.
I was going to say, because I noticed a few times when we were doing mock drafts and you were on Fanspo showing the videos of the players that we got copyright tagged a few times. I was like, seriously? There's people who genuinely post highlights on YouTube, Instagram, everything, and they don't get copyrighted. I swear.
It's
only
called
me.
Fair use. I'm so utterly confused. Like, I'm so confused.
So weird. I was going to say, and you're also streaming it live. Right, don't you think there'd be no copyright? If you go to the Brooklyn Nets channel on YouTube.
Yeah, I got it.
By the way, a really underrated signing for today, and we all hate him, but Yabusele, 2-year deal to the Knicks, $6 million a year. That's a really good pickup for them. They also got.
I don't know. He's a big. I'm talking Nate. I'm texting with Nate.
He's like a Dorian Finney-Smith.
He can
He's kind of
guard
like
the
a
3,
DFS.
4, 5. Nate's telling me he can guard wings on a perimeter.
Yeah, he's like
So this is
6'8",
a good player
6'9".
then.
Yeah, no, he's a very solid player. He had a great year with Philly.
Yeah, he was out of the league. He came up. He's like 30 years old. I never heard of him before last year.
Yeah,
He's
he was
like
originally
30.
with Boston. Then he
Boston.
got
He was out of the
cut.
NBA for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he went overseas for a little bit, and then he came back for Philly, and now he's with the Knicks. So sticking with the Eastern Conference.
Knicks are having a good offseason.
Yeah,
they got Jordan Clarkson.
Jordan Clarkson and Yabusele. That's a much better than any player on their bench that they've had. So now you have Clarkson, McBride. I mean, do you start Josh Hart and Karl Anthony Towns again, moving Mitch Robinson to the bench? I don't know, but we'll say that's how it is for now. So you'll have Clarkson, McBride, Yabusele, and Mitchell Robinson off the bench so far. That's not horrible. Maybe Tyler Kolek gets some more minutes next year. Who knows?
All right, so this is starting in 10 minutes, right?
10 minutes, yeah.
All right. Let me keep an eye on. Let me know if they start on time. I'll pull it up in 10 minutes. I'm going to put it down for now.
Okay.
Let me know. Keep an eye. In the chat, y'all can let me know too. When they start, I'll pull it back up.
Yeah.
The Knicks still have Shamet and Precious. So Precious is a free agent. So Precious is no longer a Knick. I don't know about Landry Shamet.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I'll look up Landry Shamet right now. But I do want to get back to the direction of the Nets, which is the topic of the show. Michael Porter Jr. is a far better basketball player than Cam Johnson. He shoots just as well. And the criticism that's coming in is that he played in a perfect scenario with Denver. And that's true. It was a great situation for him in Denver.
Yeah.
But now he's going to get a chance to run the offense. And you can build an offense around Michael Porter Jr. You can't build an offense around Cam Johnson. It doesn't matter what team, how good or bad the offense is. You know what Cam Johnson's role is. He's going to stand on the wing and shoot threes. And he's going to hit them at a 40% clip, which is good. But that's the only thing he can do. He's a blunt object. There's nothing else. Like, there's really not much difference between Fontecchio and Cam Johnson. There's really not much difference.
I was going to say, I mean, the Nuggets are making incredible moves. Like, as of right now, if I'm just looking at the West, OKC, Denver, and Houston are the three teams that I really like coming out of there. Denver brought back Bruce Brown. They got Cam Johnson, and they also brought in Jonas Valanciunas. I think that's a really solid offseason so far. Houston, they brought back Jeff Green. They brought back Steven Adams. They just got Dorian Finney-Smith, and then they traded for KD. So I really like those three teams out West right now. But I think Denver is going to put up a really good fight against OKC this year in the playoffs. So it's going to be a bit difficult for OKC to go back-to-back. But now they have that experience in the finals and deep playoff runs where they are still going to be a threat for the foreseeable future. So it'll be interesting. But if Denver can't make a deep push, Jokic will be the topic of conversation for the Lakers next year. So
it's going to be tough, right? Because I think if San Antonio is healthy, San Antonio is better than Denver.
No, not even
that's
close.
A big if.
Like, realistically, right now your starting five is what? Jamal Murray, Bruce Brown, Cam Johnson, Aaron Gordon, and Jokic.
That's pretty good.
That's fucking scary.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That is a perfectly constructed lineup around Jokic. You've got your two stars. You've got your three high-caliber role players. And Bruce Brown's a playoff riser. Aaron Gordon is a playoff riser, right? I don't know about Scam because I haven't seen him in the playoffs, but,
Well, we did with Phoenix, and it wasn't good.
Well, yeah, we also saw him against Philly in the play-in, and he looked like shit as well. So.
He had one good game, and then the other 3 games were trash. And, I mean, Scam Johnson is what he is. I don't know what people – I was watching this Nuggets podcast yesterday, and they were saying how great of a trade this is, like how much better Scam Johnson is than Michael Porter Jr., and he's half the money. And, like, he's like – they call him a better shot creator, and he's better off the ball. It's like, okay. I hope we keep that same energy 6 months from now because he's none of those things. And I'm just letting you know, I don't know, like, when the Nets traded for him, I didn't know what the hell Sean Marks saw in him. It was him and Bridges, like, what the hell is this, right? Cam Johnson has played as well as you could imagine this past year, and he has no value. Like he's like, okay, it's Cam Johnson. It's like I said, it's not much different than Fontecchio. It really isn't. It's like I don't really want him.
Here's the crazy thing, and I was actually just thinking about this. Like I saw some betting odds where Atlanta is now the favorite to land Giannis if he decides to request a trade. Like they could get great value back for him if they send him to Atlanta. Like Jalen Johnson probably is the key piece in that trade, right? Yeah. Who else could you add in that package? I mean, who else do they get? Like they're not going to trade Luke Kennard or Nickeil Alexander because they just got him, but who else is in Atlanta that they can move on from? Let's see. They've got Jalen Johnson, Kobe Buffkin. They don't really have much in terms of depth, but well, except for what they just recently added. I mean, yeah, would you like if you're the Bucks, do you take Jalen Johnson, Kobe Buffkin, and 4 or 5 first-round picks? Like I would do it.
Yeah, you're bringing in Jalen Johnson. That allows me to reset with a young player who's an all-star caliber player. Yeah, I would do that.
I mean, they could straight up just do Jalen Johnson and Ricochet for Giannis with picks attached to it. But I mean, that's a great offer as well. Atlanta's got something going for them because even if they lost those two, that puts them in contention now, right? They'd have Trae Young, Dyson Daniels, Nickeil Alexander Walker, Giannis, and Onyeka with what? Luke Kennard, Porzingis,
Walker. Yeah.
Yeah, like they'd still have depth. So I don't know. They're doing some interesting stuff over there. Detroit getting Karis LeVert was very underrated as well.
I think so. What is the temperature league wide on Ricochet? Like what do people think of him? Like
I'm not high on him. I was not high on him in the draft process. He was last year's #1 overall pick.
Yeah, and he wasn't bad, but I just don't like. There's nothing about him that really goes, okay, I see why he was taken #1. Like what? I'm not saying he's a bad player. I don't even know if he's a starter in the NBA though. Like I'm looking, I'm like, Yeah. I don't really see why he would be taken. I know it wasn't a super strong draft class, but I'm not looking at it. I'm looking at him, and I'm not seeing anything that resembles a first overall pick. Like I don't see that at all.
No, it was a weak draft class. I mean, I said it during the draft process. I thought Stephon Castle was the clear and obvious #1 pick. I thought he was great. My 3 favorite players in that class was Castle, Topic, and Kel'el Ware. Castle won Rookie of the Year. Kel'el Ware looks like an incredible young rotational big. And then, of course, Topic is going to start playing it this season after recovering from the ACL injury. So, yeah.
That's an incredible, OKC is set. They are in good hands.
They're so fucking good, man. It's disgusting. It's truly mind-boggling how good that team is. Like, you have SGA, Jalen Williams, Chet, Lou Dort, Isaiah Hartenstein as your starting 5. You have Isaiah Joe, Aaron Wiggins, AJ Mitchell, Nikola Topic, Thomas Sorber, and who else off the bench? I feel like I'm missing somebody.
Caruso's still locked up too, right? You haven't said Caruso.
Yes, Caruso as well.
I mean, it's an embarrassment of riches for OKC. And they still got plenty of draft capital. It's like this is I mean, they are in good shape. I'm sure the NBA is torn on this because people can say they don't like dynasties. The ratings suggest that they love dynasties, right? Like the NBA was never more popular than when the Bulls had a Jordan dynasty. Then it transitioned right into the Lakers dynasty, which Kobe and Shaq. And then it took a hit. And then it soared again when you had the Warriors and the Cavs in the finals every year. And now you don't have a dynasty and the ratings are dropping again. Like you can say that the NBA doesn't like fans can say they don't like dynasties. The ratings suggest the complete opposite. And you're on the verge here of getting an OKC dynasty. Like, but it's the smallest market in the NBA. Does the NBA want that? I don't know.
I think it's incredible for the league, and I think Sam Presti's given them the big old, because for them to be that small of a market and doing what they're doing is incredible for the league. It needs to be done. Like they're talking about expansion teams and shit, But if you can't take your small market team seriously, why should you expand the league, right? Build up the NBA, not just 6 teams. I don't understand the concept of continuously letting the Lakers, Celtics, 76ers, Spurs, like all these teams continue to be great for years on end. But you look at your, bottom feeder teams in terms of market value, like OKC, who has had incredible teams over the past 20 years, and you still don't want to see them succeed. Like it's strange. It's very weird.
It is, right? And it has not worked for baseball. Baseball used to be a nationwide sport. Now it's a very regional sport. Like I can attest, I watch the Mets almost every night. I watch no other baseball. I watch my team, right? And this is because you have the haves and the have-nots in baseball. You have the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Mets, the Dodgers, and then you have everybody else, right? And the everybody else, outside of 1 year where the Royals beat the Mets, can't really compete, right? Like the Pirates are never good. The Reds are never good. These teams are never good. And the Yankees have been, and the Dodgers are really good every single year. And it's because, they get the first crack.
I was going to say, yeah, like the Nationals, the Nationals, Red Sox, and Pirates are like the farm systems for all the big teams. Even the Padres sometimes are like a farm system for the Dodgers and shit. It's the same thing.
I've been saying for 20 years now, baseball should cut down to 20 teams. I don't
even think it's that. I think they need to actually make a cap salary. They have no cap salary. That's why the Dodgers are spending $1.5 billion on their roster every single season. And they're deferring. They're signing guys on like $2 million deals and deferring the last $700 million to the final year of their deal. Like that should be fucking illegal. That's horrible for the sport. Nobody wants to see the Dodgers have 8 out of their 9 players on their roster be all-stars. That's disgusting. It's not fun.
No, and there's no competitive balance. There's no balance in the league, right? Like you have these teams that are never going to be good, right? The Pittsburgh Pirates are never going to be good.
Yeah, like the AL. The Yankees and the Tigers are the only threats in the AL. The rest of it sucks.
Yeah.
And the Yankees aren't even that good. I'm a Yankees fan. They're not that good of a team, and they're number 1, number 2 in the AL.
They'll probably go to the World Series again because who's going to beat them in the American League? Like who's going to beat them?
Maybe the Tigers, depending on how the Astros look at the deadline. Maybe they can be the team because they're also hot right now. Outside of Pena getting hurt, they're still a really good offensive team. But yeah, it's a weak AL. It's literally the Eastern and the Western Conference, right? Like the Eastern Conference is weak now. Same with the AL, and the NL is like the Western Conference where you got the Padres, the Dodgers, the Braves that are coming up, the Diamondbacks that are starting to get healthier and better. Like there's going to be a dogfight over in the NL, but the AL is going to be a cakewalk for the top 2 teams.
I do want to get to Michael Porter, right? Michael Porter Jr. to me is a far better basketball player. Like there's really nothing that Cam Johnson does better on a basketball court than Michael Porter Jr.
No, there's really not.
With that being said, is Michael Porter Jr. a 2-year rental? Are they going to look to trade him next year? Or do you think they want to keep him and start building around him? Is he going to be here for 1 year, 2 years, or more than 2 years? I guess.
See, personally, to me, I would love to see him be a long-term piece. I think he's an incredible fit on a contending team. And I think that's what you're trying to build towards, right? You're trying to have 2 great draft classes where you strike big on 2 or 3 total picks out of those 2 years. Maybe 2 of them become stars. And then you have your elite role player with you, right? And at that point, you're just your missing piece away, which you can get through the trade market. So to me, he's never getting $40 million again. That's for fucking sure. Unless if he becomes an all-star in Brooklyn, which I doubt.
Hang on.
I doubt.
I'm gonna let you cook, but that I want to circle back to that. But
I'm gonna say I doubt that just because, again, with his limitations health-wise, he's got a specific game that works for him, and it got him paid. Do I think he's going to get a similar contract to that again? Fuck no. I think you're going to cut that in half. You're talking maybe 20, 25 million a year for him. And for an elite role player, that's perfect, especially when you're contending, right? It's not like you're paying Cam Johnson 23, 25 million during rebuilding years. That's useless. That doesn't help you. But MPJ, if you can, keep him for these 2 years to finish off the contract and then bring him back on a half price deal, I'd absolutely love that. He'll be 29, 30 years old by the time that his contract's over, which is prime years for role players. So I don't hate it.
You said he, playing at, not going to play at an all-star level. But I don't know if he'll make an all-star game. Players on bad teams generally have a difficult time making all-star games.
Yeah.
Give me what you think. I think he's going to be the focal point of the offense this year.
I agree.
What do you think his stat line is going to be? Points and rebounds and field goal percentages. What do you think we're looking at this year?
Let's see. He had what? 18.2 points, 7 rebounds, 2.1 assists, which was a career high last year. I believe he shot 50, 39.5, and 77% from the free throw line, if
Yeah, it
I'm
was
not
basically
mistaken.
50-40 shooting. Yeah.
Yeah. I could see the percentages going down a bit. I think
Sure.
the three is going to stay relatively similar because he's more of a catch and shoot three guy. He's not going to really handle the ball at the 3 line. I could see him probably averaging 20.5 points. So it'll be a career year in terms of points. I think his rebounds are going to go up a bit as well. I could see 7.5, 8 a game, which is about on par with what he's done regularly. But the assist, if he can hit 2.5, 3, that'd be really stellar for him. So yeah, I could see like 20.5, 8, and 3 from
I'm going to
Porter
go
this
an
year.
extra bucket. I'm going to say 22.5 and 8 on 47-40 shooting.
Okay.
That's
Not bad.
borderline all-star numbers.
Yeah, no,
You know
for
what I'm saying?
sure. Like I said, how I categorize players in this league is you're either a rotational piece, a high caliber role player, a borderline star, a star, an all-star, and then a superstar, right? So like your borderline stars are usually like your third options, right? Derek White, who else could you put up there?
Yeah,
Your stars are like your Jamal Murrays. They're not at an all-star level, but they're still,
I,
incredible
I,
players,
I
right?
think when the Nets are ready to compete, that MPJ is your third option. Agreed. Right?
I don't know about third, right? Because if
He
you
was
look at
he
the
was the third
construction
option
of
on
the
that team
team,
that won a championship and one of the great offenses of all time. He was the
think
third
about it.
option on that team.
Yeah, but think about it real quick, right? You have Demon this year. You have to think he's at least your third option if you took him at 8th overall, right? Like that's got to be your third
Yeah.
option. He's got to be your primary ball handler and your third option scorer. That's what you're hoping to get out of him. Let's just say you draft top 3 next year. That's going to be your number 1 or your number 2. And then let's be honest, again, Cam Thomas likely to be a trade candidate for when you get a superstar. That superstar that you bring in through that trade will be your number 1 or 2 option, right? So Michael Porter, to me, if you're keeping him long term on a contending team, should be your 4th option. I think that's where he'll be utilized
If
best.
he's your fourth option, you have a great offense. You have a great offense if that's your fourth option. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Am I bugging on Michael Porter Jr.? Like, I think I've always known that. Now he was in a situation that had 3 other All-Star caliber players, if you include Aaron Gordon, right? So there's only one basketball.
Yeah.
So, but like to me, I on this team, he's gonna. And I'm either going to be right or wrong. We'll find out in 6 months. 22.5 points a game, 8 rebounds a game on efficient shooting. That's a really good offensive player. That's a really good player.
Definitely.
And that's what I think we can get from him. Now, is he in his contract, 2 years down the road, is he going to get another $40 million contract? No, right? Because he's not a number 1 option. But as a number 3 option, I'm good with that. I don't know what you want to classify Yegor. Yegor's going to be able. Hopefully, Yegor can score the ball.
Yeah.
I'm high on Yegor's upside. If he can't shoot, right?
What happened?
But if
yeah. Oh, I thought you were saying about a trade. I was like, oh shit, let me go to Twitter.
No, if Yegor can't shoot, it's a bad pick. If he can shoot, it's a good pick. Right? That's how much is going to swing on whether or not this guy can shoot the 3 at a 36, 37% clip. If he can, he's going to be really good. And it's that 6'8" point guard. He can rebound. He's obviously an amazing distributor. I don't know where he classifies in. Like when Jason Kidd was on the Nets and they had Jefferson and Vince Carter. Like what Jason Kidd always has the ball in his hands.
Yeah.
But where is he on that? As an option, where would you say he is as an option?
I would say with the RJ Vince days, I would say he was the second option.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Because you would have to think it was Vince, then Kidd, then RJ.
But RJ had seasons where he averaged 20, didn't he?
Yeah, but it's still you gotta think of it as like an all-around game, right?
No, I agree.
He's the primary point guard, and he's likely your third option scorer, but he also rebounded very well for a guard. He defended really well for a guard. So overall, when you're putting all those components together, he's probably your second option, right? Vince was your clutch scorer, guy that gave you 25 plus a night, extremely athletic, could score from all 3 levels of the floor. That was your first option. And then you had RJ, right, who had his greatest years in New Jersey simply because of Jason Kidd, right? Without Kidd, he's probably not averaging 20. He's probably down to like 16, 17, which is still great. but those extra points are probably not coming due to Jason Kidd, right? So that's why I kind of see RJ as that third option on that team.
Yeah, and J.R. Smith told this about when they played together on the Knicks when Kidd was like 40 years old. Kidd told him, just run the floor with me and go where I tell you to go. You'll score 6 more points a game. And J.R. Smith's like, all right, like how much more am I going to get paid averaging 17 than 11? Like, okay, sounds good. Like,
yeah.
But yeah, if you talk to the guys that play with kids like Kmart and Jefferson, they love him because Jason Kidd got them paid.
He's the most underrated point guard of all time.
Yeah,
he really is. Like
I know you were super young when he was in his prime, but like prime Jason Kidd is second only to Magic Johnson. Jason Kidd, if I'm making my all-time team with the players I've seen with my own eyes.
Okay,
Jason
own
Kidd's
eyes.
my point
Yeah,
guard.
I was gonna say I would put him 5th all time in terms of point guard. I would put him behind.
If you say John Stockton, I'm gonna end the stream.
No. I put him above Stockton.
All right.
First.
Okay. I was gonna end the stream. Put Stockton ahead of him.
I would say Steph, Magic, Oscar. You put Westbrook ahead? Like, do you put Westbrook ahead of him?
Yeah,
I think Westbrook's one of the most overrated players of all time. I think he's also the worst
Westbrook's
MVP.
Garbage. I would rather have no point guard than have
like maybe Isaiah Thomas over
I
Kidd.
can live with Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah, that's who I would probably do. Like for me, Stockton and Kidd are on the same level, but I'm giving the edge to Kidd. Just a different time.
They're not on the same level. Kidd is 100 times better than Stockton.
I agree in terms of the individual player, but the stats show Stockton. That's the only problem.
But like this is like Craig Biggio made the Hall of Fame and Robinson Cano isn't going to make the Hall of Fame. It's like who's better at baseball? It's not even close. Yeah. Right? Like Craig Biggio hit 270 till he was 45 years old, so he got 3,000 hits, so they put him in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Name one thing at baseball that Craig Biggio is better at than Robinson Cano. It's like it's a stupid question. It's like ridiculous. Cano is 10 times better than him.
Yeah, it's the same thing with A-Rod and Barry Bonds. They're two of the probably top 15 greatest players of all time in baseball, and they refuse to put them in the Hall of Fame because of steroids. So,
yeah, but
that's pathetic.
Other guy, it doesn't make any sense. I mean,
right? Because is Mark McGwire a Hall of Famer? No. What about Sammy Sosa? Did he ever get it?
Sosa didn't get in. The only guy that got in was Pudge Rodriguez. I think did David Ortiz get in?
David Ortiz did get in.
Yeah, those are the steroids guys that got in. Manny hasn't got. Ortiz got in, but Manny didn't. There's no rhyme or reason. They like Poppy. Poppy's likable. He's friendly. Everyone loves him, so they put him in. Pudge Rodriguez stayed under the radar, so they put him in. Right?
Yeah.
Bonds and A-Rod are viewed as dicks. No one likes them personally, so they're not getting in. It's like this.
I was gonna say I would say A-Rod, McGwire, Sosa, and Bonds are probably the four of like the 12 greatest baseball players of all time, and they refuse to put them in. I mean, yeah, steroids played a major point, but they're still iconic. Like the steroid era of baseball was by far the best era.
Well, the biggest travesty, I said, like I'm 42 years old. The most accomplished players I've seen, hitter and pitcher, Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens. No one's better than those guys. Neither one of them were in the Hall of Fame. So what is the point of the Hall of Fame? What's the point?
Yeah, no, it's disgusting.
There's no point in it anymore. If Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds are not in the Hall of Fame, there's no point in having a Hall of Fame. There's no point in it.
No, I agree. Lou, how am I an all stats guy? I hate how the NBA plays basketball currently. I've been very vocal on how I don't think analytics is correct anymore. Same with baseball, same with basketball. Shooting more threes is not good for the game. Building rosters in the MLB that strictly just hit home runs or strikeouts is not good for baseball. Analytic departments suck. There's a reason why these teams that use these analytics don't win championships. The Yankees, all they have is home run or strikeout guys. They don't have consistent bats like the Dodgers do, like the Padres.
Which is crazy because in their dynasty, they had 9 guys who hit around 300 with 15 homers. They didn't really have any major, Tino, right? But everybody hit 300. The lineup was insane. There was no outs in the lineup. You had to pitch to everybody, right? And they won for, I think.
By the way, that thing started. We're 15 minutes late.
Oh, shoot. See, you're supposed to remind me.
I was going to say, I do have to hop off around 1:45, though. So I'll be able to watch for a couple of minutes.
All right.
Let's get copyrighted. What's our salary cap at now? That's a great question. I believe we're 17, 18 million under the cap still.
I think that gives me utmost confidence in developing these 5 guys.
I'll be right back.
I don't think if we had that confidence in our staff, we probably wouldn't have done it. But, sky's the limit for all of them.
Hey, all. Brian Mahoney from the Associated Press. You guys are from so many different places, played in so many different spots. I wonder if any of you known each other previously, have played with each other, or anything like that, or you're all sort of meeting each other for the first time here?
I can start. Well, me and Nolan, we actually played against each other on the NGT tournament back when he was in France and I was in Spain. Yeah, one of the last tournaments before me going to BYU and him moving to professionals.
What do you know about his game?
We were really aware of him on the scouting report. The game before the final game, he dropped like 45, if I'm not wrong, and against Barca, which we were happy to see that. But it was really scary for us to, get to this game knowing who he is.
Yeah, I played against Igor, like you said, and against Ben Saraf in a multiple European championship during the summer. So yeah, I just know these two guys.
Danny Wolf and I at the end, we've been competing with each other during the pre-draft process. We're both with CAA, working out over there at Proactive with Don McLean. So yeah, I'm familiar with his game, very skilled.
Yeah, as Nolan said, we played against each other one game. And me and Danny, we had I think 2 practices in the Israeli national team under 20, yeah.
Yeah, Ben and I almost played on the same team together, I don't know, 2 summers ago. And then DP and I were together, Drake and I were together in LA for a better part of 2 months now, so.
Jordy, kind of similar question, the one that Sean just had. These guys obviously share a lot of high basketball IQ, love to share the ball. How do you think that plus the positional versatility and size that they have kind of fit in the way that, you want your team to play?
Yeah, I mean, on both sides of the floor, I'm starting with defense. Positional size is very important, right? And you guys can see here, with your eye test, I would play these guys almost, 1 through 4, 1 through 5. So that's a good thing for us. You'll see length, athleticism, and we'll keep working on that physicality, communication. That's one of the things, the multiple effort. Those are the things that we have to be on the same page, and that's my job as a head coach. And then offensively, we want to play with pace, right? So in my opinion, we have the fastest guy in the draft. We have a lot of playmaking here. All these guys can really pass the ball. All those paint touches and ball reversals, it just helps you when you have not primary ball handlers, but also secondary ball handlers, and all these guys can do it. So it's all a positive. There's no negatives here, and I'm very excited. And as I told them already today, is if your teammate touches the paint and creates a 3 for you, you have to let it fly. Otherwise, you're gonna come sit with me. So they already know what we're trying to do. It's been a good couple of days here, and this preparation for Summer League is exciting.
Hi all, Yoav from Sport 5 Israel. Welcome to Brooklyn. First of all, guys, a question for Jordy. Since you're very close with Coach David Blatt, I'd like to hear what he told you about Ben, maybe about Danny, and if it helped you in your evaluation about them towards the draft.
Yeah, because I think words of wisdom are always important. And as you know, I have a lot of respect for Coach Blatt as a person, as a coach. And when we do our due diligence, we want to, you want to watch the players yourself, but also you need to know, all the things that you didn't know, and everything was very positive coming from Coach Blatt. He really liked these 2 guys, and he knew them pretty well. So he really helped us, and finally we were lucky enough to get them both here.
Hi, everybody. Brian Florentin from Nets Daily and Nets Republic. This one's for Sean. Since you've been the GM, the relationship with Long Island has been really strong, and the development has really sort of been hand in glove. How do you see Long Island playing a big role as far as helping to build on the new talent coming in?
Yeah, I mean, Long Island they are, exactly the same as Brooklyn Nets, right? Maybe a different infrastructure and a little bit further away, but we want to make sure that whenever our players from Brooklyn spend time in Long Island, there's nothing amiss, right? So it's clear communication between the two. the two groups. Matt McDonald, our GM there, has done a heck of a job in helping to develop them. Mufon, our head coach down there, the same thing. And I think the proof's in the pudding when we look back and see some of our guys over the last few years who have developed and spent a lot of time in Long Island and then all of a sudden come up to Brooklyn. And next, you know, they're starting for us or playing meaningful minutes in Brooklyn. You can see that there's a development track and development path there. So I assume some of these guys will definitely spend some time in Long Island, and you know, we'll have to see how the season sort of plays out and what minutes are there for everybody. But at the same time, as Jordy mentioned, it's an environment of competitive nature out here. So that's what we want to see. These guys go compete. There's no promises given to anybody, let alone the draft picks or the guys we currently have under the roster. Go compete and may the best men win.
This question is for Sean. This is Mark Malusis from WPIX. Sean, how important is the relationship between GM and coach in terms of the system that Jordy wants to play when you're going into draft night? And then what are the expectations for the Nets in the upcoming season?
Yeah, I mean, the relationship is vital. I mean, it's a clear partnership between not only Jordy and myself, but with the front office and Jordy's entire coaching staff. I mean, we both need to feel very strong that whoever we draft that night or whoever we bring into our program, whether it's through free agency or trade, can fit. And why do they fit? And how do they fit within not only Jordy's system, but do we see an upside? Do we see a versatile player that we can help develop? And we're trying to predict 3, 4, 5, 6 years down the line. What are they going to look like there? I think throughout the entire draft process, having the coaches involved in this is maybe somewhat unique, but we really value their opinion. That's why they're available and they're included in all of their draft workouts that they participated in with the Nets. And we ask their opinions, and we get in the room and we fight it out and battle. And I want to hear from them. They're the ones up and close, and they're feeling these guys on the court. So I think it's really important, and I love to see that buy-in. And I think, to be quite frank, that's where player development starts. When the coaching staff is excited about guys you draft. You guys saw the room on draft night. Guys were excited about it. I mean, we're thrilled to have these guys, and I think that's a little bit of that. That just shows the emotion that's gone into a year of work, not only from the scouting department, but from the process that the coaches have been through in the last couple of months. Expectations for this year are the same as always. Go out and compete. We don't put a limit on. Don't do this, and hopefully you don't win these amount of games or anything that's never crossed our lips here. It is go compete and do the borough proud. And I think that's what this group has done. That's certainly what Jordy has done. And when your leader voices that in timeouts and voices that in the locker room, that speaks volumes. And that's why people want to play for him. And that's why people are excited to have their players here and working with this coach and this coaching staff.
Hey guys, Lucas Kaplan, Nets Daily again. For Yegor, I just want to first ask, how would you like us to pronounce, your full name?
It's Yegor Demon.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
And second of all, I just want to ask what you think about today's NBA is perhaps suited for your game, especially playing, a pro-style offense at BYU. What do you think you can contribute on an NBA court?
Well, I think I'm just a good fit. This team is a good fit for me, and I'm a good fit for this team. Obviously, because it's a lot of athleticism, young guys, and I believe we could be a really high pace and high volume team, right? Just being able to run coast to coast. And for me, how efficient can I find those defensive rebounds and just find the outlet as fast as I can? Find somebody in front of me who can finish on the rim or find the corners, right? Since we're going to learn a lot of spacing, it's going to be a lot of screens and all that. And I believe we can really find good offensive and defensive variety in case of the players on the court. As Coach said and Sean, we can really play 1 through 5, everybody, right? There's going to be rotations where we just switch everything. Well, it's not my decision anymore, right? But
you can now.
But what I'm trying to say is I believe there's a lot of options I can bring to this team, and I can do whatever coach need me to do.
Hi, Vincent Piala for the French media Le Parisien. Question for Sean and Jordy. What did you see on Nolan that convinced you to select him? What do you expect from him this year? And Nolan, maybe if you can tell the first days of you in Brooklyn.
Why don't we hear from the young fella first?
Okay. Yeah, my first days in Brooklyn were really good. We started to work since the first day. We're just excited about the journey we can do, and excited about the team we can have. A lot of young guys, a lot of pace, like Igor said. And yeah, I think that's a great city too, so it's good to be here. So yeah, really happy to be part of the Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah, to answer your question as well, really enjoyed going over there and watching him play live. I think it's one thing to watch on film and so forth, but you know, live and in person, you get to see his athletic ability, you get to see the speed, the first step, you know, breaking down defense and so forth. And I think those are some things that you can't necessarily teach. You either have that innate ability or you don't, and he has that, and that was really exciting for us. One thing I love the draft process. I love getting to meet these young men and all the other people in the draft themselves and get a feel for how they fit. You know, how are they going to fit with us? How are they going to fit with each other? How are they going to fit with our coaching staff? How are they going to fit in Brooklyn? And that was something that really stood out, not only about Nolan, but the whole group here. And to get to know Nolan a little bit better, you saw the personality. You know, on the court, he does seem to be on the quieter side. I loved seeing the older players on his team, you know, in France really navigate to him, and he could draw them in, and he was a quiet leader out there. And I think those are some characteristics that were really important for us to see. He had the respect for his team, and for a young man to have that at this age is quite unique. So, one, to get to meet him, you know, in a little bit of a more casual setting was fantastic, and you got to see a real personality. You got to see how he would fit here with the group and in the locker room. And then I think something that stood out was certainly how he garnered the respect from his teammates in Europe.
Hi, Chris Carino, Nets Radio. Danny, your journey is interesting. Guys with your size and skill set don't end up in the Ivy League a lot. How was your process of going to Yale? How did you grow to allow you to flourish at Michigan? And what are you confident in terms of how your skills now can translate to the NBA?
Yeah, I mean, my basketball journey's been definitely up and down, and it's took definitely a few different steps to get to where I am today. And just going to Yale, they gave me an opportunity, and I took that and ran with it, and didn't play much my freshman year there, and just kind of used that as an opportunity to work and develop my game and just grow in the areas that I needed to. And then that kind of led to I had a great summer playing for that Israeli team in the under-20 tournament, which kind of gave me some momentum, and then had a pretty good sophomore year. And after the year, just decided that it was in my best interest to kind of challenge myself and prove myself against the best in the country on a nightly basis. So I went to Michigan, and we had a great year there. And then now I was in position to get to the NBA, so we decided that it was the best time to do it. And the Nets took a chance on me again, and in terms of my skill set, I think it's still developing. I think just the jump I made from Yale to Michigan, and now obviously the NBA is a different animal, and you can have to keep working on a lot of different things. But I think there's just a lot of different things I can do on a basketball court, and just whatever Coach Jordy and the staff want me to do, I'm going to do it to the best of my ability while still working and developing to kind of become that player.
Sean, kind of building on your last answer about just sort of the process of identifying this class of guys, you know, I imagine, you know, if you wanted to go see someone from North Carolina or Michigan, you could decide that at breakfast and get on a plane and go. But this is not very easy to do, I would imagine. How far out do you identify these guys, and where you can see them and when, and just how you know where you're seeing them, they have the game to translate to the NBA?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I got to give a lot of credit to not only BJ Johnson, but the entire amateur scouting department. They've done a heck of a job this year and years in the past, you know, being able to identify talent in all walks of life all over the world, right? And basically they tell me where to go, and that's where I go, and I go and see them. And I think it's really important to lay eyes on these guys. I enjoy that part of the process. I personally enjoy seeing them, and I think our entire group has done a nice job, again, identifying these young men and how they would fit with what we're trying to build here in Brooklyn, and also seeing like, okay, where can they be, right? Where can take Noah Clowney, for instance, right? You take him from the college ranks here, and okay, where does he end up? And I think that's a credit to the amateur scouting department. Then it's also a credit to our development coaches, not only in Long Island but here, to see a guy like that. And we would expect nothing less from the rest of this group. Where they you'll see a quick rise in their games as they get. There is a learning curve for sure. There's no question that you're looking at 4 19-year-olds up here. So I have 2 boys myself, older than them. So I mean, it just puts it in perspective, like just how young this group is. And to me, that's exciting when you see what the continuity we can have with this group and how they can build and how they can flourish over the next 3, 4, 5 years is going to be exciting.
Eric Slater, Clutch Points. Welcome to Brooklyn, all you guys. This one's for Jordy. Sean referenced before how excited you guys looked, after making each of these selections. You looked particularly excited after you guys made the Yegor pick. Just throughout the scouting process in the last year, you guys getting to look at him, getting to know him. Just what excited you about his skill set, what he did on the court, and how he could fit into your philosophy and your vision.
Yeah, going back to the positional size and his playmaking, obviously it's very important that we help each other and we give each other the best shot possible. And I would believe that he can do it, playing pick and roll or simply making the right play. That's who he is. And if you watch him play and you get to know him, you can see that right away. His ability to shoot the ball, he's going to shoot the ball very well in this league. That is another thing that excites us, but also his work ethic. We know he's going to show up. He's going to work every day. That's something that caught our eye because, as you know, it's not just watching them play real games, but we know a lot about these guys, right? Like that's what you do through the process. Like Sean said, the coaches who were part of the process was amazing. I'm not going to tell you what the process was because that's our secret, but the group did an amazing job, and us being involved in it was very unique for me, for my experience. And selecting him, another thing that I believe he's going to help us is with our full court pace, his ability to throw the ball ahead. That's also going to help the team. So we were pretty fast in the half court and slow in the full court, and I think playing with him, he's going to help us be faster in the full court. So all that will help the team. Like you said, the team will help him, he will help the team. So that's a good partnership.
CJ Holmes, New York Daily News. Welcome to Brooklyn, guys. This one's for Drake. The man at this end of the table does not play about defense, and you won UNC's Defensive Player of the Year award as a freshman. So in your mind, how do you leverage your defensive prowess to make an immediate impact in the NBA?
Yeah, just to hit on that, I feel like my defense, that's mainly just pride. That's just something that I've had since, growing up at a young age, playing with my older brother, older cousin. That's just something that I always took pride in. I think that, I can make an immediate impact to help this team be successful. And, just do whatever I can to, be to the best of my ability.
Bob Windrum from Nets Daily, a question for Egor. Andrei Kirilenko is the president of the Russian Basketball Federation. He played in Utah. He played here. Did you speak to him about what your career path is going to look like and what it was playing here in Brooklyn?
Yes, I talked to him through all of my career, if I can call it like that. But moving to Spain, he was a part of this decision at some point. Moving to BYU, especially, obviously, because he lived in Utah, and for my parents, it was important to hear what he think about this place. And obviously, when I got picked by Brooklyn, he called me next day, and we talked a little bit. Just he gave me some advices, and he just said that he's happy for me, that he's really happy that I'm in this organization.
Congratulations to all the players selected. I'm sure it's been a busy schedule for you. What's been the most exciting? What are you looking forward to this summer?
I think that everybody would say that everybody's waiting for Summer League, and just to step on the court in the jersey and play basketball together.
Yeah, of course, summer league is important, and also the preseason with the team after getting to know everyone and make sure to know like basketball wise everyone, and yeah, as me as a point guard, I would say that it's important to know.
Gary, you sold. Where'd it go?
What was that?
The YouTube's gone. Where did it go?
Oh shoot! Oh, hang on. I didn't realize I closed it out. My bad.
55 people just got cucked, including me.
Of course, I'm really excited for the summer league. And
There you go. There you go. My bad. My bad.
I don't know if there's anything different I could say, but yeah, just getting to kind of build that relationship and camaraderie, not only with these 4 other guys, but the entirety of the team, the young guys, coaches, front office, and just kind of starting on the right foot and just getting ready and for summer league, and then just gearing up for the season. I think everyone's pretty excited.
Hi, Nitzan Livne from Haaretz Israel. What can you please tell us about the selections of Ben and Danny and the journey they should have, the expectations?
Yeah, look, I think I really enjoyed watching Ben overseas. We went over to see him live a couple times, so it was great to watch how hard he competes. I think that was something that really stood out. Passing ability, pride on defense. I think he's playing at a high level over there, and for him to come back here and be a part of this group with those experiences, those worldly experiences is key. I like the way he gets the hole, finishes around the basket, doesn't shy away from contact. So I think there was a lot of things that translate into our game. Danny, I think we've already sort of talked a little bit about the high IQ and a skill set that's very unique for a person of his size. So to see him out there and other teams continue to try and figure out, well, how do we stop him? Who do we guard him with? What system do we put around him? I mean, that's a unique problem to have, right? And we're all in on that. Like, how do we use both of those young men to the best of their abilities and watch them grow and so forth? So, yeah.
For Ben, the Nets obviously liked you and had seen you several times playing over the course of the year. But I'm curious, A, when they had already taken 2 point guards, were you surprised at all when they drafted you, knowing that they had already taken 2 point guards ahead of you? And B, when you found out you were coming to New York, just how did you feel knowing you were coming to a city with such a huge Jewish population and having, for lack of a better term, an Israeli youth national team teammate?
Yeah, for the first question, as we said before, I think we all can play several positions. So I don't think it's gonna be a problem. I'm super excited to share the court with those guys. And I think it's gonna be amazing. And for the second question, it was amazing. Got a lot of messages, getting a lot of love from the Jewish community here. And of course, it's the first time we are both Israelis and playing for the same team. So it's gonna be really exciting, and appreciate all the love that I'm getting like in the street and from the fans.
This one also for Ben. I think one thing Sean mentioned on draft night, you've played a lot of games. I mean, for someone your age, right? And playing in Germany, as a professional, how do you think that that's going to prepare you here as you get to the the highest level?
Yeah, I think it's kind of fun. I'm playing like pro for 3 years now, so played a lot of games so far. I think it's going to be helpful to know how to manage your body, to really stick to your routines, and really be able to and be willing to compete every night. So I think these are the things that can translate right away for the NBA.
A question for Sean. There might be nights at the Barclays Center when we will hear more Hebrew than English. So I just like to hear from you. What does it mean for the community, the Israel community in New York, the Jewish community, to have these 2 guys and get this support out in the stands, which is going to be incredible, of course?
Yeah, to be honest, it's fantastic the way it just worked out. I mean, if you think about it, like the game of basketball is such a worldly game, played all over the globe. You've heard about how the rest of the world is sort of catching up to one of America's games. I won't comment on that. What I will say is there's talent everywhere, and that's our job, is to bring in the best talent regardless of race, ethnicity, and so forth. It's to bring in the best basketball players and, welcome them into not only Brooklyn, into our borough, but into our Nets family. And I think that's what you're going to see. But it's certainly going to be unique having both of them here. And we're excited about that. I know the borough's excited about that. I know the Jewish community here is very excited about it too. And you've got two incredible ambassadors for that here. So it's exciting.
This one is for Drake, right here in front. You've had a shifting sort of career in terms of Isaiah joins your AAU team, you get to UNC, your usage drops a lot. How have the changes in your role affected, your journey here, and how do you anticipate that playing into and perhaps helping your NBA career?
Yeah, I'd say it really just kind of switched my mentality a little bit. Like you said, my usage rate, it dropped a lot once I got to North Carolina. But I was still playing like heavy minutes and being able to help the team be successful. I really could have, just sulked and, just complained to the coaches. But, like, what does that get done? That was really the way I thought. And so I just accepted the role that I was given with open arms. And yeah, I just wanted to be able to play to the best of my ability to help the team be successful.
This question's for Yegor. Obviously, you're a guy who's handled the ball a lot. You played point guard, but have a lot of size. Could be viewed in different positions. Do you have a position that you view yourself playing, and how could you envision yourself fitting alongside some of the other guys, particularly Nolan?
I think, coming back to what Coach said and what I said before, I'm just blessed to be here, and I'm ready to be whatever they need me to be. That's going to be a part of my development, is to learn how to play on the ball, off the ball, setting screens, and being on the screen, whatever it is, right? And again, I'm just ready to try to execute whatever they ask me to do.
Hey guys, Jed Katz, Nets on Sports Illustrated. This one's for Drake. You obviously come from a storied program, North Carolina, Coach Hubert Davis, obviously been to the national championship. What did you learn from your time in North Carolina, and how do you think that what you learned there will translate to the NBA?
Yeah, just the preparation, everyday type preparation. I think that was something that I struggled with going in, but I had to continue to put trust in a lot of my vets, Seth Turnbull, RJ Davis, Jalen Washington, guys like that. I just tried to, shadow them a little bit, see how they operated. And yeah, I'd say the preparation was the big piece.
Thank you all for coming. We'll make our way to the court for a photo op. Maybe the cameras head out there.
All right. That went shorter than I was expecting. I thought it would actually go a bit longer. You could tell these kids are so damn nervous. That was so funny. I could say kids now finally too, because I'm finally older than all of them.
You are older. All of them, right? Are you older than all of them? Yeah.
Yeah. Danny Wolf's only 21 or 22. I'm 23, turning 24. So
there you go.
Yep. I am officially not the baby of the fan base.
I'm still the old man, so that hasn't changed. So
yeah,
kind
I
of
turned
old enough
24
to be
in
your
December.
father. I'll be 42 next month.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I'm old man, 42. I've been a Net fan since the Kenny Anderson days. Like I've been around. Only LBL's older than me. He's the only person.
It's been a rough 23 years for me.
It's been a rough 42 years for me. For the Mets, the Jets, and the Nets. I've been watching sports since I'm like 5 years old. I've never.
Yeah,
seen a
that was
championship.
your fault. You should have known
That's
not to
all.
go with a trio of Ets.
My pops and every male in my family is a Yankees fan, Giants fan, and Knicks fan.
No,
It could have
God.
been okay for me. I would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'd have 8 championships right now instead of 0. 5 from the
Yeah, I
Yankees.
got lucky enough
Yeah.
to be a Yankees and a Steelers fan, so I've at least seen 3 in my existence.
Well, you
yeah,
weren't
3.
alive yet for the dynasty, for the Yankees.
No, I was not.
Yeah, Jeter, Rivera,
No, I got to see the
Posada,
09
yeah.
championship. That 09 was actually the year that both teams last won their championships, the Steelers and the Yankees. So it's been a dry spell since, but we'll see.
Oh wow, you're right.
Hopefully one day.
Yeah. Well,
Yep.
hey, look, I've had a dry spell my entire life, bro.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what it is to win.
My uncle
And-
was born the year after the Jets won their only championship, and he's a
So
Jets fan.
70.
So
Yeah.
he's had it rough.
Is he a Mets fan too?
He's not a
Well, he
baseball
would've-
fan.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. It's not been good. Like it's almost statistically impossible that like to be a fan of 3 teams this long, and none of them get a championship. Like that's like statistically a miracle.
Yeah, it's a shit show for sure. But it was interesting to hear from them. You could tell they're all nervous. I think there was one answer where Yeager was saying something that they didn't like. So did you see Marks and him?
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they turn out. There's only 9 days until the summer league starts. So Brooklyn's first game will be July 10th. I believe it's against Washington, if I'm not
That
mistaken.
came up quick, man. That came up quick.
Yep. So at least July will be packed with 4 to 6 games for us there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
our
we're going to
first
be
game
good
is
in the
July
summer
10th.
league. We got a stacked summer league roster.
Yeah, July 10th against OKC, July 13th against Washington, July 15th against New York, and then July 16th against Orlando. So we get to see Thomas Sorber. We get to see VJ Edgecombe. Who else is there? The Knicks did shit. And then Orlando. Who did they get at? Who did they get? Who the hell did they get at 25?
Who we talking? Wait, I'm sorry, I missed the question. Who-
Orlando. I'm trying to figure out who they got at 25. I'm going blank. They got Jace Richardson. All right, so yeah, we'll
Oh,
get to
yeah,
see
yeah.
Sorber, we'll get to see VJ, and then we'll get to see Jace. So some pretty entertaining matchups. It'll be interesting to see how Traore does against Jace since we took him before Jace went. So that'll be a fun little matchup. But yeah, that'll be
Nate
interesting.
claims to be a Nets fan. All right. Yesterday he said the Nets are going to be great for your grandchildren or something along those lines in regards to the 2032 pick. Now he's saying all Net fans should be flying to Vegas to pack the house for this championship run. I said some sarcasm in these comments, Nate. The Nets are going to be championships of July, is what he's saying. They're going to be summer league champions.
The one and only championship.
Yeah. We're not going to be winning a championship anytime soon. I'm not getting one here. I'm not getting one with the Jets, and my Mets can't win a game anymore. It's not good. It's not good, Dylan. It's not good.
No, it's certainly not. But no, I gotta start heading out.
All right. Yeah.
Um,
when do you want to come back?
I am going to be busy tomorrow and Thursday, Friday as
Friday?
well.
Okay.
I should be around Saturday morning.
All right. Let's
So yeah,
shoot for Saturday.
let's shoot for Saturday morning. I also think I'm going to be hopping on with Connor as well.
Kyle Long?
Yes, sir.
My dude. All right. All right. Let me know when that is. I'll definitely I'll be in the chat trolling for sure. Let me know when you're going live. You going live with them, right?
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Yeah. Sounds good. Let me know when that is. Well, Connor will let me know, but I'm definitely interested in hearing that. I claim to be an internet troll before a fan of anyone. Appreciate it, Nate.
All right, I got to jump off.
All right. Be good.
Let
I'll see
you
you
close
Saturday.
out. Later.
Yes, sir. All right. It's July 1st, 2025 from Texas to the world. Thank y'all and God bless.